It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Students getting a big victory against Harvard. The judge ruling the case is going to go forward, saying that there was evidence that Harvard should have done a lot more to protect the Jewish students. And the attorney who's representing the students joins us now, Marc Kasowitz. Marc, it's great to have you here. This is Rita Cosby with John, Judge Weinberg, Rudy Washington, and Tony Carbonetti. First of all, congrats. And this is huge. Explain what this means, not just to Harvard, but to other schools.
Sure. And delighted to be here, Rita. Thank you. This is very, very large. Harvard, everyone recalls the events of the last spring and the events of after October 7th on Harvard's campus, on Columbia's campus, and on the campuses of all of these so-called elite universities where pro-Hamas demonstrators were literally calling for the destruction of the state of Israel and death to the Jews, which was just an incredibly outrageous and hostile educational environment for Jewish students on those campuses. Everyone also recalls that, the actions of these universities, including Harvard, were absolutely non-existent. The universities took virtually no steps to protect those Jewish students from this harassment and intimidation and the like. And so we brought cases against Harvard, NYU, Columbia, and Penn. And the reason that, Rita, that this court proceeding and the court order is so significant is that all of the universities, including Harvard, tried to defend themselves and get these cases dismissed by saying, A, the problems on campus weren't that serious. The incidents of anti-Semitism were isolated and not part of any kind of pattern of hostile behavior. And two, the university's working on it. And the courts need to let the universities do this on their own without interfering. In fact, these universities were claiming somehow that they were the victim because our lawsuits would impose a hardship on them while they were trying to deal with these issues. Just outrageous. So here, Judge Stearns, a federal district court judge in Boston, heard our argument. I was there 2 weeks ago with my partner, Mark Ressler, and we argued for a couple of hours against Harvard. Harvard, I think, had some former solicitor general or something who was arguing for them. And the judge took it under advisement. And yesterday he came down with his decision, and he appropriately and properly found that the educational environment was hostile for Jewish students on these campuses, that the university had completely ignored the interests and rights of their Jewish students, and that the university may have been mouthing pieties about the steps it was taking, but they were empty pieties.
Wow.
And so we have an important victory for the benefit of our clients, these students, and now we're going to proceed with discovery through the university's files.
And I say bravo, because to me it's astounding that other schools, I think it opens the door. I'm telling you, you're giving hope, because you can't just throw a major group of students by the wayside and not protect them. They couldn't even go to campus. It's shocking. Judge Weinberg.
Mark, good to talk to you again. Let me say this. This is a great victory because you're sending a signal to the whole country. And number two, this is denial of basic civil rights of the Jewish kids on campus. But it could have been anybody. Would they have tolerated this if it was against Asians or Latinos or African Americans?
Right.
And the answer is no. So why should this be tolerated because it happens to be the Jewish community? And so once you go after the Jewish community, it can be anybody. What say you, Mark?
Well, look, it's really shocking that in the year 2024, which is about 70 some odd years after the Holocaust, that we are encountering a situation on our campuses, on the on the places of highest learning in this country, in the world, where not only is there rampant anti-Semitism against Jewish kids, where Jewish students are being intimidated, harassed, and discriminated against, not just by other students, but by faculty and by administrators. Okay, not only is that outrageous, and when you think that this is only 70 years after the Holocaust, or it's 70 years after the Holocaust and it should never happen again, but this is what was happening in Germany in 1932 and 1933. The place where anti-Semitism really took root in Germany was in the universities, and it metastasized from there. And what we're seeing here is anti-Semitism taking root in the universities. And so this decision, our lawsuits and this decision, and the decision of the Federal District Court in Boston, what that says is no, not here. The university has an obligation to stand up to protect the rights of Jewish students, just as it does the rights of other protected classes under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And that's what we're going to do. Yep. And it's not just going to be at Harvard. We're going to do it at Columbia. We've settled with NYU, and there was a public announcement on it. But we're going to do it at Columbia, at Penn, and then we've got other universities in our sights right now who we're going to be bringing actions against.
My friend Charlie Gasparino wrote a book, Go Woke, Go Broke. Somebody better send a copy of the book to all those universities. Yeah,
I was going to say, bravo. By the way, Mark, for what you did. Keep us posted, please.
Thanks very much.
Absolutely will. Nice to speak with all of you. John, good to see you again.
Thank
you.
Be well.
Thank you so much.